First thing I do when I come out here to train is I usually follow my routine. So first I come up here. This is about, watch the kick back here on this. This is about 6-7 yards. Yeah, that's the height set on a deer. As you can see, I throw up paper plates. Now that would have killed a deer pretty easily. When you're throwing at animals, see, humans are different. See, here's my target here that the other day, Andrew Dimko was here. We're out here shooting our recurve bows. And this is my straight line theory of shooting, where you shoot the center line and stuff. So this is more for anti-human predator shooting. But when you're shooting at an animal, its body's going this way. Its legs are like this, okay? So the spear, especially the Samburu spear, or any cold steel spear for that matter, is so lethal that a hit almost anywhere on that animal is going to prove fatal, and you're going to collect them. Maybe if you hit them in the guts or in the ass, they won't go down immediately, but they won't go far. It does too much damage. Tim Wells and Buck and I have never lost an animal hit with a spear. We've missed animals and they got away, plenty, but I've never had an animal die an agonizing, lonely death because I made a bad throw with a spear. We've collected every single one of them. So it's difficult, very difficult to hunt with a spear, but it's very lethal. If you do make a hit, it's almost always going to be fatal. It'll be severe enough that you'll be able to track and recover that animal. So when you're throwing at animals, it's important, of course, to hit your target zone. But if you hit here or here or here, it's not a train smash. You're gonna probably make meat. It's a huge challenge to harvest any animal with a spear, and there's a huge sense of accomplishment and elation, joy when you do it that is just unmatched with anything else. There's so many challenges. I mean, just the wind-up to throw the spear is big. So, when you're throwing the spear, you have to be pretty well hidden. You have to be very quiet. I mean, darn near silent. And you need to wait for the animal to be in a position where he's unaware, looking away, distracted, high wind, anything that keeps, he definitely can't be looking at you. The long flight time of the spear will let a lot of stuff escape. Now normally what I do is I throw 5 times in a row with each arm. Someone's just about an inch or 2 high, a little bit to the left. I say it still would have made meat. You don't hit the plate every throw. So now I'm going to throw left-handed, which is more challenging for me because I'm right-handed. But my Sikh friends have taught me that whatever you do with your right hand, you should do with your left hand as much as possible, because what it does is it trains both sides of the brain. And so I've made an effort in the last 10-12 years to train myself to be as confident as I can with my left arm. This is one of the things I love about kettlebells and Indian clubs and medicine balls and all the things that I used to exercise with, is they train both sides of the body equally, particularly the Indian clubs and the medicine balls. I mean the Indian clubs and kettlebells, because your left arm can't miss out on working. You know, when you're using free weights, your right arm and right shoulder can do a lot more work than your left side, or vice versa. But when you're using individual weights in each arm, like you are with kettlebells and Indian clubs, each side has to do its own work. So, because I've been doing that for so long, my left side, I would say, is probably 85% as strong as my right side, maybe even a little bit higher. And I credit that to years of kettlebells and Indian club swinging. And also when I'm grappling, I make an effort to do everything that I normally do on my right side on my left side. So when I'm grappling, I spend most of my time on the bottom, because the people that are going to attack me are probably going to be as strong and heavy or bigger than I am, and maybe even much bigger. So it's likely I might end up on the bottom. So I've spent almost my entire grappling career since 1996 becoming an expert at fighting from the bottom, and I give Ron Blicki a lot of credit for that. So I'm going to try to remember now all the basics of throwing a spear. You line your shoulder up with the target. Point the spearhead at the target. Now I'm going to be throwing in a descending arc. Pull your arm back and throw. Went a little high. It's pretty hard to throw a 2-pound spear left-handed. A little closer. Closer still. Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm throwing, and ladies, don't get mad at me, I feel like I'm throwing like a girl or a super uncoordinated guy with my left hand. But it's actually getting better. I know now why, after years of spear hunting, why man hunted cooperatively. You might have 6 people surround a water hole because you're hoping that 2 or 3 people would get a throw. Maybe one guy misses and the next guy hits. Voila! Now, you hear that satisfying smack when that spearhead hits that plate? It makes it all worthwhile. I don't know what about human beings, but we love the sound of noises like that. I just love the sound of that noise. It's intoxicating. Okay, so normally after I've thrown my 5 spears with each arm, I'll come over here to my cones. Now, if you don't have cones, you can use rocks or pieces of wood or whatever. Find a relatively flat spot. This was as flat as I could get this area. I put down a bunch of DG, and then we tried to flatten it out, but there's quite a natural slope here. So I didn't want to put in, you know, a ton more DG to make it totally level, but maybe I will in the future, because I'm not that satisfied with it. But it's plenty good enough. And anything you can find like this, I'm going to show you one of the things that I do all the time is I walk backwards. The late Ernie Franco taught me in the very early 1980s that you can beat most people with footwork. And I thought, I mean, just with footwork? Yes, with footwork. So footwork drills are a big part of my life. And I spend a lot of time walking backwards. So you used your peripheral vision as you move around these cones. You don't have to go fast. The main thing is just to do it. And I count. I usually go 100 steps, and then I do another drill. And it's important that you don't just weave around them, but you make your body move all the way around. Because forward pressure is averted by lateral movement. Lateral circular movement is even better. Going out into a circle like that, when someone's trying to grab you, they're trying to take you down, they're trying to pick you up and slam you to the earth. If you break contact and squirt to the side, they have to do this. And their momentum dissipates. Their forward pressure dissipates, and it grounds out to a halt. And you get on your bicycle and move. So, constantly, and you could do it even late. I have a drill where I stand here like this and I just do this. When that contact comes, I don't want to meet it chest to chest. I'll just turn like this, just like this. So as I turn like this, my next step could be here, or as I turn like this, I might get a hold of the neck and start pushing him down. But I don't want to take, especially from a bigger, heavier, stronger person, I don't want to take their charge chest to chest. I want to redirect my center against their center. So here's center's here. My center now, just slip to here. I'm 90 degrees to him. So all I do is I take a tall, small step and twist that hip and let him go over my foot, just like that. Just like this. Let him go right through you. So you're gonna let him pass through you, as it were. And I talk about this in my stun, stagger, and stop video. And I teach this in depth. So if you want to see more teaching on that, go and grab that video. It's reasonably priced and it's long and there's a ton of information in it. So I get in my 100 steps and I go around all the obstacles. And usually I start at different places, so I'm not moving the same direction every time. And then sometimes I'll come over here. This is a little bit more cone disc dent over here. When I have my 100 steps in, I'll come over and I'll practice on my lateral movement. In knife fighting, in stand-up, moving slightly offline can make all the difference in the world, especially in stand-up. As someone's getting ready to hit me with their rear hand, and I do that much of a movement, or even this much of a movement, they have to readjust. I've just wrecked all of their trajectory analysis, distancing, everything. It has to be recalibrated now. It can work either side. I usually tend to go away this side to make them have to turn to throw that rear hand. So I might go this way. I might even step forward a little bit. I might even step forward here and turn. But when I see some loading and someone's gonna hit me, I don't stand here and wait for it, that's for sure. Okay, here's how you can get yourself moving like that. The body doesn't naturally move this way. The body moves forward and back naturally, but you have to teach yourself to do this. So I do 40 at a time. Now you notice that I don't take a full step with my second leg. A step, a half step, a step, a half step. Because when I come down, and I teach this in footwork drills all the time on my videos, is I want my feet shoulders distance apart still. I don't want to be like this. There's no balance here. You need your feet underneath your shoulders. So the trailing leg is taking a half step. Big, half, big, half. Big half, big half. Try to loosen your hips and your legs as you do that, and we get those 40 in. So I do 10 reps of 4. Then I come over here and I work the male and female triangle. Here I'm going on the female. So I do 20 of these. then I work the male triangle. Until I got my 20 in. So sometimes I'm doing these. You'll see when I come here, I'll get ready to move out to the side. When I move this way on the male, I might come out to this side. On the female, when I step here, I may swing all the way around on body was, or I'll step here and do my replacement step. Look at, my knife's in my right hand, and I step here, I'm pretty vulnerable. I want to get behind my knife. So I'll take that other step and spin around and get behind my knife. If I step to this side, I may run all the way out and turn, or I'll just take the single step and then replace it and turn back. But remember, in knife fighting, 2 steps are always better than 1, and 3 steps are best. Don't take 1 step. It will seldom get you far enough away to be safe. 2 steps away is good. 2 steps, maybe run a little, change your position, get even more space. That's safest. Remember, you can never rest when you're in reach. Be at least 3 steps away. If you're trying to gather yourself, think, whatever. Don't be close or you'll be cut.